welcome back and happy Tuesday. This week I have another amazing guest. This woman is a total rock star. So we're going to be talking about the role of platform within the venture capital world. I know a lot of people are curious about that. So I thought, okay, we got to get Ms. Galina on here. So Galina Osgar is the vice president of platform at H&L Ventures. And Galina, so happy to see your lovely face on here, my dear.
Likewise, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on for Tech Tuesdays.
Exactly. So, okay, here's the thing about Galina. When you think about, I mean, your purview, your reach is global, but like I'm just going to talk about it from the New York perspective because that's where I am and that's where you've been, right? Your impact on New York has been crazy. You've had such an awesome career. For all of you, definitely look at the Q&A because you'll get more into her background there. But let's just start with a high level question. I think a lot of people want to know how to get into venture. So how did you get into the space?
Oh, that's a good question. I know we don't have enough time for that full story, but I will tell you, Scarlett, that my path into venture was very unconventional and quite interesting. I had an entire academic career that I never pursued in linguistics and foreign languages that I left behind in a country named Belarus. And I came to New York and I decided that New York is the type of place where you just need to be walking into the most interesting rooms, the rooms where it happens, right? Quoting the great show. And I just ended up turning things around so drastically for myself that I landed in a couple of rooms where very interesting conversations were happening at a point where New York was growing to become this true venture ecosystem. And I ended up talking to amazing people who were the OGs of this ecosystem. And I always like to say that I got a little bit lucky because I was in the right room in the right place. But at the same time, looking back and being honest with myself and putting modesty aside, I worked very hard. I worked very hard to get myself to a place where I was able to talk about venture, to speak this language, to work with founders. I got into venture through my first job at an accelerator program called ERA, Entrepreneurs Roundtable Accelerator. You know this program very well. They were kind of at the very start of what I would call the active startup ecosystem here. And I learned from the ground up, doing a little bit of everything as a generalist, and worked my way to a slightly different role, which today we call platform. It wasn't called platform at the time. Yeah.
So I will say in all sincerity, just thinking about everyone that I know in the ecosystem, you for sure are and always have been one of the hardest workers that I've ever met. And there's something that, like you said, there's always timing and luck and everything else, but I am a fundamental believer in, what the startup world calls hustle, but whatever it is, it's like going above and beyond, and you've always done that. So it's no surprise to me that you are where you are. Okay, so let's get into this role of, let's demystify the idea of platform. So you are vice president of platform. What does that mean in practice?
So platform is an interesting title in VC because, for a lot of people who are outside of the venture ecosystem and kind of looking in, platform is definitely a little bit more mystical. So you have the investment team, the deal teams, you have, the partners, the principals, the associates. What do platform people do? Well, originally when people like myself were working on the platform side and we weren't calling it platform, it was a little bit of everything. It was like a catch-all for all things post-investment, essentially. So what do you do for the portfolio once the investment actually comes through? Well, some firms thought it might be great to organize some thought leadership and brain trusts around founders and make sure that they kept on excelling past the investment. Some thought that platform might be great in hiring and recruitment. Some thought that platform is actually product building. So building systems, products, productivity tools to surround the fund with, operational excellence, essentially. I think that platform is all of these things. And I'm part of this network of platform professionals across both coasts. And at this point, it's also active in Western Europe. We are about 1,000 people, and that's just registered in that network. And when we talk about platform, I almost feel like we speak a variety of languages and dialects. Some of us are asking, how do I build a marketing strategy for the fund? And that's what they're focused on. And others are saying, well, I came with a recruitment background. I want to help talent. Others are saying, well, this is my interim role before I figure out how do I get into investment. And, I like to say that I do a little bit of everything as a generalist. And for the portfolio specifically at HL Ventures, what I do is I've built some systems that help us essentially be very effective in helping our companies. So at HL Ventures, we practice this methodology of daily active engagement. That's super rare. So when we engage with our founders, I need to make sure as VP of platform that we actually answer to every request, that we know what's happened with it, that we've connected all the dots, made all the introductions, so on and so forth. And then we know that that task is done, filed away, archived, and we can go back to it when we need to. That system doesn't really exist, so you need to build it kind of from scratch. And the second thing for me is HL Ventures specifically is keeping all the systems in place that we already had, all the networks in place that we already had, and building on top of them. So that means business development, that means bringing in interesting partners, that means nourishing our trusted partner network. It also means running our venture partner program. And venture partners are really important to our organization because they bring expertise, they bring a lot of their knowledge, their own Rolodex into the fold. So there's a lot of moving parts to platform, and each venture fund decides, sometimes from the partner level, sometimes with the platform person themselves, they decide what that strategy is. That's why it's such a mystical title, is because there's not really a platform university. Everybody kind of just brings their own talent and decides based on what the firm needs, what platform is going to look like.
Yeah, you very, specifically articulated everything that I've seen when people have had that role, because it really is different depending on the fund. So we need to wrap up here, but I know that one of the things that's super special about what you're doing at HL is your talent network. So could you tell us in one or two sentences what that is? And then of course we'll definitely include it in the article as well.
Absolutely. So one thing I will say about HL Ventures is that we back founders at the nexus of non-concessionary revenue, impact, and diversity. And so for our companies and for our founders, what is really important is to keep on living that same set of values when it comes to hiring. And so when I started building out our trusted partner networks and when I started building out our talent networks, I wanted to bring that set of values into these systems. So for our talent network, I would love to get my hands on the best talent in the industry when it comes to marketing, operations, product, you name it, to bring them to our company so that they can hire the best people from most diverse angles, that we remain very, very inclusive of talent. And so we're going to leave a little link for folks that are looking for a job, are thinking of joining a startup. They have a bit of appetite for, risk and adventure in their lives. And I think if you're looking for something like that, this year is the year to do this. Our companies are truly building across, future of work, future of education, future of finance, and health and wellness. And I would really love great people to join our network so we can match them with the right opportunities at the right time. So that's the little bit of, ad space over here on Tech Tuesday for HL Ventures Talent Network. I thank you for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Galina, I mean, you know how much I admire you. We could talk about this for a very long time, but let's wrap up for today. Thank you so much for your time. For all of you, absolutely. For all of you, as Galina mentioned, there will be a link below. So if you are that talent that Galina and HL is looking for, make sure to go find them. Click on the link and you'll see there's some great opportunities. For everyone else, we will see you next week. Thank you so much. And until then.